Welcome, you 50 plus enthusiasts of life out there. We are talking about what your plans are for your next chapter. What's going to get you there? Do you have something already in your head? Right? Yes, that's what we're talking about. So, Vicky Flower here. I am devoted to building a community for us, 50 plus, 50 somethings. We're starting with how to be healthier, wealthier, and happier. Like the biggest pillars in my life. I mean, everything falls under that, relationships, all of it. So I committed, one of my commitments to myself. I did a video already of monthly goals. You can go look at it. If you like, if we're not friends already, I'm going to do an ask here. Go ahead and be my friend. Put the plus and welcome. And I'm still pretty new to TikTok, and I'm still learning the live. So come along with me on this journey to have to enrich your life at 50 and beyond. Okay, so next chapter. Some things to think about. I'm going to give you some tips tonight to maybe make it worthwhile for you to be here. And I was able to go live with another creator, and we were all on the screen. I'm willing to try it. As long as 50 something, we're keeping it to that topic. And let's see. It says invite another host. No, and go live together. Oh, I could invite someone, but I think you can actually ask me to enter. So, but here's what we're going to do. All right, tips. I'm going to get on point. Sometimes I get excited, and during the lives, it's like, okay, don't fall over your feet in trying to get the message out that you're trying to share tonight. And that message, to get back on point, the next chapter. What does that look like for you? How do you get there? All right, some tips you need to think about, or it might be smart to think about what you want to change. Maybe you don't want to change anything at all. Maybe you want to have your life exactly like it is now and keep on going. All right. Well, that's a certain thing. Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to move myself around just a little to position myself a little bit better. Hi, hello, everyone who's coming on live. Thanks for coming out. I'm committed. I committed for the month of March in my Year to Rich campaign as a 50 something to be healthier, wealthier, and happier, that I would do lives. And it's still pretty new to me. And, but tonight we're talking about the next chapter. So one of the things that you can think about, some tips to think about is, start, look up some books, start Googling the terms, right? Pre-retirement, think about, maybe you already have your own dreams already, things that you've got in place. Well, then start giving those things a little like creativity time, imagination time, not like to-do list time, but creativity time. Imagine them. And go to books, go to magazines, watch travel shows, whatever it is. And I'm going to take a look at the questions. Why aren't you wearing a mask? Because I'm sitting alone in my house. So I'm basically quarantined alone. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. I would be if I were out and about. So, yeah. You look like, I don't know who that is, but I don't know. So I don't know if you're insulting me or complimenting, but whatever. Fix your lashes. Okay. So, I'm not really here for you guys to criticize my appearance. So I'm going to keep talking about what I was intending to talk about and not notice the comments. And I'll go back and, I guess, I don't know. Okay, I'm off my game. Let's do this. Back to the next chapter of a 50 plus. And if you're not that person, you can go ahead and roll off. What do? You have to get ready. And you have to decide how that's going to look financially. You need to decide how that's going to look for, your mental health, your physical capability, what your transportation is going to look like, right? Now, that's all very practical information. And really what we're thinking about is, how do we imagine what that that thing's gonna be. What it's gonna feel like. Where do we want to be? What type of lifestyle? Designing our life on purpose is kind of the point of that. So I'm going to take a courageous look one more time at the comments and hope it has something other than about my appearance. Okay, well, thanks. And I'm sorry if I'm not knowledgeable of the trend. TikTok has been so fun to me, and I really love it. I've got so much to learn, and I've been a digital marketer for a long time, and I just see this amazing opportunity, a historical opportunity. So, for people to really be themselves, and so from that perspective, I guess I got a lot to learn. So I guess be patient with me, right? All right. Here we go. Second piece. So fantastically think about, we're talking about how to bridge the life you have now, the life you want as you go into your 50s and beyond, right? That's really kind of what we're focusing on, the next chapter. What does that look like? Now, for some of you, you may still be in the workforce enough that it might be 15 more years before you want to retire. Or maybe you have the type of job, like residual job, like an insurance agent. You run a whole book of business in an office. You get serious residuals. And so a lot of you may not even really retire at all. Depends on what you want to do. And again, those are very specific life choices you can make. And so that's what I'd recommend. Start thinking about where you'd let go, where you think, I could spend less time doing this and rather that. And it can be about money, like budgeting, but that's not really what I'm talking about. It's really more getting like emotionally ready. Because, a lot of us, I've been a businesswoman all my life. I didn't do the mom route. So it's not my experience. But it's, we've been working a lot and you have a lot of knowledge. And so what some people do before they retire, because they want to do a speaking career, maybe they want to start a podcast, maybe they want to work half time, but they still have all these connections they have in their industry, might write a book. I've helped executives do that, right? That's one thing you can do as you're going into your 50s, with maybe another 5, 10, 15 years under your belt. You can at least start, getting paid to speak at places. And that's a nice little bit of revenue that you don't have to work quite as hard to get, right? Once you retire. So let me see if there's any chats. All right. And it's all right with me if there's not. I am building, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm inviting a community around. I'd love to build up a community where the 50 somethings that either they're kind of the shit back in the day, and they want to get that back, that fire of life, or people who still have it, want to do more of it, or people who never really had it because they didn't give themselves permission in whether that social environment they were in, their family environment they were in, or just in their head, right? When we say we can't do something, and actually we can. So there's a lot of people, and I guess it seems to be correlated with aging, right? Where it's like, I don't actually give a crap what you think of me anymore, and I'm going to do this. And if you've been on TikTok for any amount of time, you've seen, kind of a pretty rebellious attitude, especially from the people that are aging. And I think that's cool as hell. I love it. And, that fire, hey, I'm not dead yet. At 50 years old, you might live 60 more years. Seriously. And many of those years, I have friends in their 70s and 90s that are still running marathons and crap. And I've never even wanted to run a marathon. Not really. I've done a triathlon, but hello. So some of the myths we have about aging, all that, I just want to kind of rub that away and say, listen, we still have a lot of good life to live. So what's the next chapter? How are we going to plan for it? And part of it is fantasizing about it, right? Imagining it, dreaming about it, looking at magazines about it, watching shows about it. If you have an idea, or experimenting, if you're not sure what your idea is, right? These are all ways we can go into the next chapter of our life. Or you may already know what it is. And if that's the case, then maybe you just need to start doing it. That's, rather than I got to go experiment and figure out what it is. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I mean, sometimes a lot of us have that feeling around 50, probably closer to 40, 45. It's been, because it's coming, right? And we identify so strongly with our work, that you almost have to deconstruct a little bit, break some chains, strengthen some others. It's all about that. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. All right. So other things you can do to start your next chapter or to begin that planning and thinking about it and really get there is start deciding on a little bit of the money part of it. Maybe it's permission to spend some of the money you've already put away, right? For you to go ahead and, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to Pilates at a real studio. It's pricey, but it's amazing. And get that amazing body that you've always wanted, right? Or whatever. Maybe you go camping, right? You learn how to be an outdoor rugged person. Maybe you buy that, 1968 vintage muscle car and you fix it up and make it look cherry, right? I mean, that would be cool. And if you and just leaning towards this next chapter, you can do it in pretty painless ways. Now, you do have the option to not do it gradually, and that might appeal to you more. But at the same time, when you've got so many connections in place, your identity, your habits, your day-to-day things, your money flow, all of that's tied up in your job. At the point you want to start doing something other than that, there's something other than money to talk about. There's a lot of people who never want to retire. They think they'll die if they quit working, literally, because they don't feel like they'll have purpose in life. Well, that might be you, okay? And maybe that's what's killed your mojo, and that's why you're running it back, right? I hear you. Many a corporate person has come out pretty dried up when they're done it, and so there's ways in the meantime you can enjoy the tail end of your career. If you're thinking you could actually enrich the career you have already by getting healthier and happier and wealthier, and getting follow the rules whatever rules they have about a side gig. That's one of the things from a wealth perspective. Next chapter we could talk about. If you want to hop on to TikTok and become famous about something you're an expert in your niche about, then hello, and you want to be sure and brand it personally so that when you leave the company you're with, they don't go, hey, that's our company brand and all the work you did building up that audience, right? These are things that you might think about, like you want to be have a digital platform. Be a persona, be a brand, be interviewed, be one of the talking heads, experts interviewed on TV. I don't know. That sounds kind of fun. And depending upon who you are, it might not sound fun at all. But the point is, whatever it is, wherever you are now, if you're in a place where you feel like you want to reignite your mojo, right? You 50 and beyond, or I think it's on the horizon for you. It's on your mind. Then what's the next chapter? What can you do now to feel ready? Or now to start the kindling of that fire, right? Or now to mitigate some of the frustration you have, because maybe you're ready now and you wish it could happen now, and this and that is in the way. So there may be things that we can talk about there from a wealth perspective, and an attitude perspective too, right? And I don't mean just put up with it, but figure out a way that works for you. And that's going to help, and it's going to make you happier. See, that triad of values is super important in the conversation here for what I'm looking to share. All right. Next chapter. What is your next chapter? Put in the comments. Tell me what your next chapter is. Chime in and share. Let's get more people in the conversation. I can actually I can invite people, and I can set it up so that you can ask to join. Other times it's happened before, so I'm probably going to get a couple 50s plus experts together that I've met on TikTok and kind of do a presentation to watch. So, that's coming. And so keep your eye on this. Follow me, share me, build a community around us, having a conversation of really just this vibrant, sexy and passionate and fun and full of satisfaction kind of life that I think we can have after 50. And that's what I'm building for myself. And you're invited to come along. That's all for now. Have a great weekend.